What's up, people?
Hey,
How are y'all tonight? It is us again,
It is us.
with the Williams,
Yes.
and we're here once again with another edition of Love Unscripted. Yes, indeed. This is my beautiful wife, Ramona.
Hello.
She just celebrated her 44th birthday.
We already told them that last week.
And we're going over it again.
Okay. Yes.
And my name is
birthday.
Wilbert, aka Will. And we're here with an edition of Love Unscripted that, you know, I think it's, again, one of those topics that happens, but we don't talk about it. I don't know if anybody really talks about it, but here it is. You think that? You think that?
No. I think it just happens.
It just happens.
Yeah.
So the
but
top.
It's not necessarily taboo. It just happens, right?
Yeah, that's true. It's not really taboo. It just happens, and I don't think it's discussed. But we're gonna discuss it tonight. Yes, we are. So our topic tonight is marriage has no room for tit for tat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we all understand what tit for tat means. When you do tit for tat, when you're a kid and one kid, if you're siblings, and one sibling does something to you, and then you turn around and do something to get back at them, kind of like pay them back.
Keep that word and those phrases. To get back at.
Pay back, make them feel like they made you feel. And
you're going deep already.
Yeah, but that's what kids do, right? But here again is what kids do.
What kids do.
Yeah. As adults, we should find ourselves doing differently.
Yeah.
We grown folks now. But the thing is, we're human too.
Right.
And we err to be human. To err is to be human. That's what people say, correct? And sometimes we get on each other's nerves. Every now and then.
Hey, you don't ever get on my nerves.
And she don't ever get on my nerves. But it does happen. And so, how do you digest that moment? How do you act like a child? And if one spouse says something that annoys you, do you say something to annoy them, or pick in a way to where you want to feel like you made them feel the way you felt? I think that's a little bit immature. Don't you agree?
Yeah, I do think it's immature, but I think there's another level to it. So there's an immaturity level, but then there's also the level of how much consideration do you have for your spouse in your marriage, right?
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is, yes, my spouse may have done something that made me unhappy, made me sad, disappointed me, ruffled my feathers, whatever. I mean, even it could even go to the extreme of disrespecting me, right? And a lot of times we do get into those, I'll just do this. I'll show him, I'll show her. And really, it is one of those moments, that's your phrase, it's one of those moments when you put yourself in that position to react that way, that you are considering the moment more than you are considering your spouse.
That's good.
Right? Because that moment will be fleeting. We do know that. It's going to be here, it's going to end. But at the end of the day, your spouse will still be there. And how do you want the spouse who is going to remain, even if he or she did something that was unpleasing to you, do you want to cut back at them? Do you want to get back at them? And so I think I don't necessarily want to serve disrespect with disrespect, or I don't want to necessarily serve anger with anger. You know, at some point,
Mm.
I would have to be the bigger person, or they would have to be the bigger person and say, you know, I'm not going tit for tat.
Mm-hmm.
I love you. I care about you. This moment is just that. It is a moment, and I'm going to look beyond that. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
not going to do the tit for tat thing.
You know, you've got to love each other beyond that moment.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's you know, it should never be an example. Let me give you an example. So, you know, I got me a towel, but I didn't get her a towel.
Mm, mm, mm.
And now the next time she gets herself a towel and doesn't get me a towel. When
Did this really happen?
when in essence, every time you do something, you should be considerate of the other. Correct?
Yeah, correct. Did that really happen though?
No.
Oh, okay.
She just had to burst my whole scene. But
Sorry.
I was painting a picture. You know, I'm just using towels. Let's say, for instance, if um, you know, as let's say a man, you forget to take out the trash, and then you know, and or you don't empty a trash can, or you leave it, or you, and it's just instead of it being um, let's say completed, it's it's just left to pile up.
It wasn't done.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
when you know you being the other spouse could say, "Oh, they forgot," or "Let me take care of this." But no, you say, "I'm going to leave it for them because they should have gotten it." So there's all different variations of this tit for tat.
Mm-hmm. Or I'm not going to do my normal thing because they didn't do their normal thing.
There you
Right?
go. That's
But
correct.
let's pause for the cause right here, though,
Mm-hmm.
because I think that is a real thing when it comes to responsibility around the house. And we also don't want to take advantage of our spouse when it comes. So, you know what? We've discussed that one of our expectations is that we don't go tit for tat when it comes to anything.
Mm-mm.
You know, now if it's a friendly challenge and it's fun, something you guys are doing fun around the house,
Like
go
checkers.
for it. Mm, that was shade. That was shade. I can hardly ever beat him at checkers. He's really good at it. So I guess I shouldn't throw shade back at shade, right? Since we're talking about tit for tat. Now you made me forget my thought.
Uh oh.
Um, but but anyway, so we're talking about doing things around the house.
Mm.
So you don't want to put yourself in a position where you're taking advantage of the other person because you know they're not going to do a tit for tat, like, oh, I didn't wash the dishes, or I didn't take out the trash. So I know she's not going to say anything or do anything. You don't want to
Exactly.
take advantage of
It's a
them
good
that
point.
way. But what you do want to do is, okay, man, let me get on my A game for next time. Oh, how about this? How about a spin on tit for tat? Oh, you did this well for me. I'm gonna do something better for you.
Look at her.
Or like just keep upping your game. Oh, that would be. I think that's good.
Wow, that's like a whole nother topic.
Right? Yeah, maybe we'll keep that topic for next week.
Yeah,
How to up your game in your marriage.
absolutely. You know, that
I like
sounds
that.
really good.
Mm-hmm.
But what we want to make sure is that you guys that you know, or in marriage, you maintain a respectful way of, I'm going to say, supporting each other
Yeah.
instead of, you know, engaging in a nonverbal, um, was passive aggressive,
Yeah.
if I can say that right,
Yeah.
uh,
It can turn into that.
way of expressing your disappointment, because it's just it. If you think that your spouse doesn't recognize that, you're kidding yourself. You are kidding yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And that just spirals. That
Mm-hmm.
just brings, that just unearths other things. It just opens doors for other you know, mishaps to happen here and there, and then you find yourself in the tit for tat. And then you become more like kids than you are, or like girlfriend boyfriend than you are husband and wife.
Mm.
You're past the boyfriend girlfriend stage. It's no longer that. You're husband and your wife. You should be able to love beyond the moment. Now, are those moments going to happen? Absolutely. Are we perfect? No way, no how. And to like we've said before, we're not perfect. But our marriage, we discuss those things. We open up about them. You know, we just don't allow them to sit and simmer. Does that make sense? We we bring them up and we have that dialogue room and we have those discussions, and it allows us to be able to do what we're doing now, to grow, to mature, to develop, to into a reassuring, a very appealing, loving, understanding.
Appealing.
Yeah, I,
I
I
like, I like
yeah,
that adjective.
very loving, very um, focused and purposeful marriage.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because we don't ignore those things. We know that we're human. We know that I'm man, she's woman. We know how emotions can take over. We know how feelings can make your decisions and your thoughts manifest into something that's not um, likable. But at
Yeah.
the end of the day, it's about the two of you. It's about no longer two, but being one, being one, being that unified couple where you don't allow the small minor
Mm-hmm.
things to become major things.
And you know what though, that's a good statement, babe. And it takes work.
Mm-hmm.
I know we harp on that all the time, but
Mm-hmm.
marriage is really not about the just the oh I love you,
Come on.
let's be happy ever after. It really is about putting in the work and
Mm-hmm.
making it work, and you will go from because I think we can attest to this. You can go from things that are like this big that would maybe get underneath your skin to things that are like this to like I mean they just shrink down in size the more you get to know the person, I believe, and the more
Mm-hmm.
you decide I'm going to intentionally work on things with my spouse.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, things that probably bothered us at the beginning.
Good point.
It's like whatever because we learned the intentionality behind each other's actions and our thoughts, and like my husband said, we are not perfect. We still are in that learning phase of each other. I think there's always going to be a phase of
Mm-hmm.
learning.
Mm-hmm.
But I can say too, one of the things that I know we grow from even listening to our own videos.
Yes, we do.
It is a almost every single time we finish a video, we have a conversation after it. We give each other a high five, we praise each other for it,
Mm-hmm.
and it gives us an opportunity to come together and build our strength in what we know works and then discuss about things that don't so we can figure out how to fix it for other times. And that's what this whole addressing the tit for tat thing is, fixing that so
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't turn into something.
Exactly. Never, I would say, don't ignore those small, frail moments because, those moments don't have to become major discussions, but to me, they should be discussed.
Ooh,
They don't
that's
have to be
good.
major, but they
Yeah,
should be discussed
that's good.
because it will come around again. And then what?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Do you just sweep it under the rug? Do you do tit for tat? Some I human nature. that exterior feels some type of recompense. Is that a word?
I don't. It is, but I don't know how you want
Um,
to use
if
it.
you get back at someone that did something to you, but that is that the way we want to do things?
Mm-mm. Unless it's something good, like I was saying earlier.
Oh yeah, well
Yeah.
that's gonna be another topic,
Yeah, we're gonna do that next week.
right? But there's a saying that do unto others as you would have others do unto you.
Yeah.
That's even in marriage.
Yeah.
That's isn't that the golden rule?
Sounds good.
Yeah,
He asks me these questions like I know. I don't know. Sometimes I do.
she
Sometimes I
does.
don't.
She's pretty smart, y'all. But keep in mind that you don't want to develop. I heard a whisper. Did y'all hear a whisper? Uh, keep in mind that you don't want to develop animosity over a little thing.
Mm.
You want to be able to talk calmly, on a level to where it's pleasant, not loud and boisterous, not argumentative. Um, because I mean, there's this. If you look at a lot of things that goes on that would happen in a marriage that begins to make marriages spiral, and you dial it back down to when it actually what it was when it began,
Mm.
it's it's really something very minute,
Yeah.
like you didn't open my
Mm.
door, or you left your shoes here, or you didn't pick up your dirty clothes, or how can or who's cooking, or what's for dinner, or these. You dial it back down and it becomes something very fragile that could be squashed right there. But then all of a sudden it spirals into, oh, I'm not doing this. Oh, okay, you're not doing that? Then I'm not going to do this. Oh, you're not going to do that? Then I guess I won't do this.
Yeah, it's not profitable for a marriage.
It's
It's
terrible.
not. Mm-mm.
It's terrible.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden it becomes a conversation that had nothing to do with what it began as.
Yep.
That's the truth.
It is.
And so it's always good not to sweep the small things under the rug. Love beyond that moment. Don't do tit for tat. It is like, I love that word. It is not profitable for marriage
Mm-hmm.
at all. There's no growth. There's nothing to be gained from it.
Yeah.
There's nothing positive can come out of it unless you have open conversation. And we could say, like we've said before, in the dialogue room.
Dialogue room.
In the dialogue room.
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
Yeah.
So,
let me finish this one thing.
poor babe.
The dialogue room doesn't always have to happen for something. It's not set aside for something major,
Mm-hmm.
or something big, or some huge conversation. Even the small things
Mm-hmm.
can be set aside for dialogue room, and have that discussion.
Yeah.
And dialogue room may be that quick,
Mm-hmm.
but it's set aside to have those moments, those secure moments, to open up and be real. And that in doing that, you'll develop a better communication. You'll learn to listen better. You'll understand your spouse. They'll understand you, and come out of the dialogue room loving and more caring for each other.
Yeah. What I was going to say about the dialogue room, he said it.
Oh, I did. Oh, okay.
So, there. Um, but I think that was really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
And we love the dialogue room. And if I had to say, what are some action steps that you can do if you find yourself doing a lot of tit for tat in your marriage, which we both said is not profitable? I would say my number one thing would be dialogue about it,
Mm-hmm.
recognize when you do it, take action not to do it again.
Come on, babe. That's good.
Don't expect your spouse to be the one. You be the one,
Awesome.
right?
You be
And
the
then,
one.
and if both of you are being the one, then guess what?
You're no longer two. You becoming one.
So we speak into your life progress and profitability, intentional actions done daily that will be able to produce. I'm not about to put all these P's in here, but that will produce for you as a married couple what you so desire. That will allow you to. I cannot believe another P word. That will allow you to live out your purpose
Yes.
together
Yes.
on the earth.
Absolutely. So marriages have no room for tit for tat. And we say hope to you all,
And
blessings to you all. You're no longer two, but you are one.
All right, y'all, we are out of here.
Appreciate you once again, and we be out. Good night.
We be out.